All right. Welcome to DCT.
Episode 54. Hi, Ben.
Hi.
You sound a little under the weather. Is everything all right over there in Benland?
No.
Oh.
Nothing is all right now. I have these things called allergies.
What are those?
Yeah, you can't relate because you are what they called perfect specimen of a human being.
Stop.
Yeah, all 5'7" of you.
Okay, so the way you said a compliment and then immediately followed it with...
No, you're really good looking. That's called a compliment sandwich.
you put an insult in the middle of two compliments.
Yes,
gotcha.
basically.
So you're an asshole, is what you're saying. Okay.
Normally it's a little bit more of a backhanded compliment, but, I decided to just go. Plus, it really wasn't an insult. It was just a fact.
Right. Anyways, since we're being like this today, in other news that isn't so backhand compliment sandwich, whatever the hell, the World Baseball Classic has been going on, and the U.S. has been winning.
USA.
Last night.
USA.
The USA last night had 2 nights ago, had a 2-1 victory over the Dominican Republic. It was a tough offensive and defensive game. It was very low scoring. You had Paul Skeens out there doing what the Skeenster does. You had a couple home runs from the U.S. side from our cornbread boys, Roman Anthony, and who was the other one?
Our AL East boys, Roman Anthony and Gunner.
Gunner, yeah. Gotta love that.
You're telling me the two guys that hit the home runs of the World Baseball Classic semifinal were named Roman and Gunner.
Yeah.
That's sick.
That's just got raw energy all over it. So it was a great game. The DR had multiple chances to win this game, hand over fist. The offense just wasn't putting it up for the U.S. and they left at least 2 runners in scoring position in 3 innings. One of those being the bases loaded with 1 out.
Yeah.
So I would say that the game was close and there was a blown call at the end for the DR, whatever. But you guys had so many chances to score and put points up on the board. So you can't just pivot on just one thing that turned that game around. There was multiple things throughout the game, but the U.S., took it handily. They'll take that 2-1 victory any day of the week. They play the winner of Italy versus Venezuela, which is going on right now. And Venezuela is winning. So we'll see how that turns out.
I hope they win. They've got a lot going on down there.
Yeah. Thailand also doesn't have a whole lot going on, so I couldn't really care less if Italy loses.
Yeah, well, Italy apparently just took his players off the streets.
So. I was talking to Ben before this, and I was like, I saw something yesterday, and it was just Italy trying to form their MLB team. Apparently there's not a lot of MLB talent that was raised in pasta land, so they were just kind of asking people have you been to Italy? Oh, you ever thought about going to Italy? You like pizza? Just random stuff like that. So
have you ever heard of ravioli?
Pasta fazool. We'll see what happens tonight with the Italy-Venezuela game, and then on Tuesday we have the World Baseball Classic finals. So it'll be a slugfest. I really hope Aaron Judge does something because he's been very lackluster in the entire series. He is batting at .287 though, but I'd like to see a little bit more out of the guy who pretty much only hits home runs.
261.
261. Sorry, I keep overinflating his numbers.
You know what I will say? Judge actually, throughout the entire tournament, has not been playing fantastic.
Yeah.
I'll give him his props. He does have a couple games where he played well.
Yeah.
So, the first game, literally the first pitch that he saw was a home run. And then against, I think it was Mexico, he had another home run. So he has 2.
Yeah.
With 5 RBIs, I think it is. And he's batting .261.
Could be more, could be less. But, I'm just happy we're winning games.
It's no Roman Anthony batting, .318 with 2 home runs and 7 RBIs. But, one day Aaron Judge can think about...
One day maybe Aaron Judge will be better than Roman Anthony. But,
one day. That day is obviously not today.
But. It's a hard goal to hit, but I'm pretty sure he'll make it there. But enough about baseball. Enough about balls hitting sticks.
Baseball.
My stick hitting Ben's balls. We are going to talk about. Sorry, what?
What?
Nothing. So we're going to talk about some free agency news. Now I know we've been kind of like hitting this nail on the head, but a lot has happened since we last talked about free agency.
Yeah.
And I think we have a pretty cool way to talk about some of the free agents that we acquired. Benny, you want to take it over?
Yeah. So we're gonna start off by just saying, some of the signings that we had, and then follow it up with doing a most likely to game, essentially, where Keenan and I are gonna sort of bounce back and forth some most likely questions to each other about both free agents that we have, and then comparing those free agents to players that have already been signed to the team in previous year. So, starting it out, free agency wise, I think the biggest thing that we need to talk about is the fact that Adam Peters has been saying for the last 2 years, and really emphasizing it this year, they need to get younger and they need to get faster throughout the team if possible, but mainly focusing on the defense. And I think he hit an absolute home run on that. You've got Clavon Chasen, 27 years old. You've got Leo Chenal, 25 years old, and he runs a 4.53. You've got Chig, who is 26 years old, and he runs a 4.5 flat. You've got Nick Cross, who's 24 years old, and he runs a 4.34. That's blazing speed. As a secondary guy, you've got Charles Amenahu, who's 29, and then just kind of rounding it out, Rashad White, Jerome Ford, De'Ami Brown, and Van Jefferson. All great addition. Adafe is a 4.36 guy. That's insane. At what, 6'3", 275?
As a big boy.
As an edge rusher running a 4.36. That's crazy. Anyways, and then Amik Robertson ran a 4.45. So, across the board, got younger, got faster. Adam Peters has been doing exactly what he needs to do. Everybody that on day one said he's not doing what he should be doing.
It was very quiet to start out.
It was a very quiet first day, and I'll even admit you and I were talking about how we wanted them to be doing more.
Yeah. We were kind of just saying, like all these moves are being made. All these players were slipping through our fingers, like Isaiah Likely. I thought we were gonna try to fight and get him, but I see now that maybe going with Chig may have been a better long-term answer. I guess we'll see. There's also some other players that slipped through the fingers and the cracks of free agency, but I like what AP has done so far. Before free agency started, Ben and I were talking about this, and we were both saying how this is like AP's last chance. Like, over the last couple years, he's had some hits, but they've mostly been misses. And last year, overall, was pretty all right, but the year before that was kind of lackluster. It was kind of missing a lot other than, obviously, Jaden Daniels.
Yeah.
So, with him doing this, has kind of revamped my faith in Adam Peters. And looking for talent, getting younger, getting faster. I didn't even know he was capable of getting younger and faster, but he has proved my ass wrong. So I'm very happy with the moves he's made so far. And, we still got a little bit of cap space, so, there may be another move here in the near future. So something to look out for. But some most likely twos. Ben.
Most likely to. You want me to start off? Or do you want to?
You go first.
Okay. We can just go back and forth.
Yeah.
First, most likely to. So, of the free agents that Washington signed this year, who is most likely to make Jaden's job easier?
It's a lot of weapons. It's a lot of people he's familiar with in his own room. But I would say out of the free agents, I would say probably De'Ami Brown. I would say as the free agency right now, he's the most familiar with the Washington system. He's the most familiar with the teammates that he has on the offensive side of the ball. And he knows how to slide into that wide receiver 2-3 role. Now, a lot of these guys have been primary players on their team for a while, with the exclusion of Van Jefferson being kind of tossed around the NFL.
Yeah.
But I would say biggest help for Jaden off of free agency, De'Ami Brown.
Interesting. Okay.
Plus, I like De'Ami Brown. I'm a big fan. So
You love De'Ami. I think I might actually go Chig with that.
Yeah, you think so?
Because I think that Zach Ertz, mostly the first year, a little bit last year, was really just Jaden's like safety blanket.
Yeah.
So I think if you add a guy that's younger, faster, can do the same thing Zach Ertz does.
Yards after contact.
Yards after contact. I think it'll be, very similar, if not better, results for Zach Ertz in year one.
I like it. All right, my first one. Most likely to have a defensive touchdown this year.
Ooh.
Something that we lacked a lot of last year was defensive turnovers. And so with all of these new additions, I could see us getting a few of those this year. So who's going to run one back for a touchdown?
It's tough, but honestly, I think it's Nick Cross.
Yeah, you think so?
Yeah, I think, 2 years ago when we played the Lions in the playoffs, what was it, divisional round, you had Quan Martin run a touchdown back in that game.
Yeah.
So, and Nick Cross is like
So much better.
so much better, so much
better than
faster.
Quan Martin.
So I think, depending on who we draft, I think we could have a very good secondary,
Yeah.
which means that they'll be a lot more likely to force turnovers, to have interceptions. So hopefully it'll be Nick Cross.
I like that. I'm going to pivot a little bit, and I'm going to say Amik Robertson. I think he, with a lot of the hate that he's getting on social media for how bad of a pick he supposedly was, or at least a bad acquisition, sorry, I think he's going to have a game to himself. It's probably going to be against a divisional opponent. Or do we play the Lions this year?
Don't believe so.
Okay, so if it was going to be against the Lions, I was going to say it was going to be against the Lions. But I feel like he's going to run one back this year just to kind of silence the hate. Kind of like how our defense started doing that a little bit, where everybody, I remember last year was a big thing where everybody was on Jamin Davis's ass for, not being able to, tackle, or pretty much all the stuff we get on Quan Martin for.
Yeah.
But, Jamin's now no longer a part of the team, but sorry. I miss him so much.
He's a lot sadder about Jamin Davis than I am.
Jamin Davis, if you're listening to this, which I know you probably are, I love you, and I know that I yelled at you that one time in that football game, but I did that just to get your attention so I could tell you how much I loved you. Anyway, I see Amik running one back, and I am going to... I'd put a bet on it if I could, and I probably will be putting bet on it throughout the season, so...
Yeah, where's that prop? Amik Robertson, 1 touchdown all year.
Yeah, man, we'll see. We'll see. All right, your second question.
My second question. So now Washington's running back room, a lot larger.
Yes.
Last time we recorded this, we had 1 running back in our room. Now we have 4.
Yes.
So, of the returning / new running backs that we have, who is most likely to surprise Washington Commanders fans?
Well, let's see. We got Shad, we got Jerome, we got Bill, and we got Jeremy. I would say surprise is going to be Bill. I think Bill is going to have a phenomenal year this year with the addition of these 2 running backs into our room, just because they are both very good receiving backs. And Bill is very good at penetrating holes on the line. Pause. So, with all that being said, with these receiving backs and the way Jaden Daniels likes to play, I know we're taking more snaps under center this year. It's going to open up a lot of those A-B gap runs, which Bill loves to run into because he's very shifty inside the lanes, and he could break outside if he needs to. With the addition of receiving backs, they're going to have to spread the defense so wide when it comes to Jaden Daniels, and if he is playing at the level that we know he can play at, I think it's going to open up a run game, and we need a very dominant run game because we saw last year how easy games can get away from us when we can't have 2 pressures on the offensive side of the ball. So I think Bill's going to have a great year. Everybody knows what Jerome Ford and Rashad White can do, and everybody saw what Jeremy McNichols can do last year. I think Bill is going to have a nice, probably... I'm going to say an 1,100-yard season out of Bill.
Really?
Yeah. I'm calling it right now. Surprising. Bill's going to have 1,100.
Interesting.
What about you? What do you think? Most surprising RB.
I think it's going to be Rashad.
You think so?
I think.
Man, I love Rashad, man.
I know you love Rashad. I think it's going to be a very similar role to what Jeremy McNichol did last season, except he's obviously younger and he's faster.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be interesting how they utilize him, especially considering, like you said, they're going to be taking more snaps under center. They're going to have a better receiving core. They're going to have a better tight end. Like, they improved everywhere pretty much. So it'd be interesting to see if instead of, like, the beginning of last year, like the Packers game, like the Giants game, where they were doing a lot of check down passes, if he's going to be used in that role or if he's going to be used in, like, a strictly powerhouse back role.
Right.
So
interesting. It's getting me excited. All right. Question number 2. Most likely running back to lead the team in receptions. We talked about this a little bit. We acquired 2 receiving backs.
Yeah.
And so depending on playing time, plus the RBs we got already, who's going to lead the team in recs?
Rashad? Yeah, definitely.
I definitely agree with that.
Yeah, I think it's got to be between Rashad and Jeremy McNichols, and considering the age gap and experience, I think it's going to be Rashad.
I definitely hope he fills into that role too, because I would love to watch him run out of the backfield on a screen bubble pass that doesn't go for -3 yards. I just want to see something like that.
All right, my next question. Of the Washington free agent signings, who is most likely to impact their position room the most? So
impact the position room.
You got Leo Chenal in the linebacker room. You got Clavon Chasen, Odafe Owe in the edge room. You got Nick Cross, Amik Robertson in that secondary room. Just a bunch of new guys.
I think it's going to be Leo Chenal. I think he obviously knows what it takes to play in a top 10 defense. Yeah. And Kansas City's defense has always been pretty good. And he's young, he's energetic, and if you saw his like briefing interview, he is just so giddy and excited to play in Washington and play with all of these guys. Like, he's so happy to be here. And like, I know we said this like last year when we were taking all these guys and they were all so happy to be here because they were playing with the new organization and playing with Jaden, but like now everybody's coming back. Players know this. Players talk more than we do to each other. So it's like they know what's going on with other players around the league. They know what Jaden recovery is like. They know with all of the injuries that we had last year, like who's going to be back. They're excited. They're getting ready to get into the room, getting ready to start practice. And I think Leo is going to be a big impact in that linebacker room, especially upgrading from what I see from a Bobby Wagner to a Leo Chenal. So that's kind of where I'm at.
I like that.
What about you?
I hate to go him again, but I think it's going to be Nick Cross.
Yeah.
I mean, just the sheer upgrade, I think it's going to be from the Nick Cross, from the Quan Martin to the Nick Cross, I think is going to speak volumes in terms of man coverage and zone coverage.
And tackling.
Yeah. Like I said, Durante Jones seems to run a very, like, sort of match coverage, which is like that zone coverage, but also having man-on-man coverage. I think it's going to be interesting to watch him, considering 97 tackles, 38 stops, 3 sacks, 16 pressures. They all ranked first in safeties last year.
And the fact we only got him for, what, $7 million?
$7 million. I think 2 years, $14 million max. So, like, with incentives, that's the most he's going to make.
Yeah.
Which is crazy to me.
It's crazy that we got him for so cheap.
But, yeah, I think also, I'm just putting this out there, if the Commanders take who I want in the draft and Caleb Downs, can you imagine our safety room being Nick Cross and Caleb Downs?
It's going to be nice. With a vet like Jeremy Reeves back there.
Nasty, dude.
Dude, oh my God.
Yeah. That's mine. What's your...
And we just have to wait like 4 months to see all of this. But, yeah.
Closer to 6. But.
All right. Number 3. Most likely to lead the team in sacks.
In sacks.
For our new free agents. We got a couple linemen. We got Odafe. We got Tim Settle Jr. playing the interior line. And then, of course, we got our old guys. So...
You know what? This might be a little weird. wouldn't surprise me if it was Dorrance Armstrong.
Yeah.
Just because I know the immediate gut reaction to that is Adafe. Because, we're paying him $25 million a year. Probably expecting him to be in at least the teens in sacks.
Yeah.
But, when you have a guy that commands that much offensive line pressure on one person, that leaves everybody else on your line to really eat in that period. So the fact that you've got an elite edge coming off of the whatever left side or right side, whatever Adafe wants to play, you're going to have Dorrance not having as much pressure on him.
Right. He's going to take more one-on-one coverages versus like a one-on-two.
Yeah. So I think that I know everybody thinks Adafe is going to be the immediate response for that, but I do think Dorrance is going to have a really good year too.
Nice.
What about you?
I'm going to go a little bit different route, and I'm going to go Leo Chenal. And I think it's because...
You think he's going to lead the team in sacks?
Yes. And I want it to be because we're going to ramp up the blitz coverages this year, because last year it was almost non-existent. And they saw how well that worked. We lost 13 games. So I want them, and they better be thinking about starting to blitz a lot more. And you know who they're going to do it with? Frankie Louvu and Leo Chenal. So those two getting to the quarterback in the backfield is going to work wonders for this team's defense. And it's going to take so much pressure off the secondary, who was just getting torched last year because the quarterbacks had an average of 4 seconds to throw the ball in their own pocket. So I think I would not be surprised if Leo is taking that step this year.
Yeah.
Question number 4.
Yeah. I think we both do one more. How about that?
Okay.
All right. My question. I know we want to be a very positive podcast, a very team-friendly podcast. But obviously we do have to talk about the necessary criticisms of the team.
Right.
Who on the team of the free agent signings do you think is most likely to disappoint or not live up to the high expectations that they're being put on them?
I can see that the one who may not work out could be Rachaad White. Rachaad White in the past has had a big fumbling problem, and that's something that our RBs know all too well, is how to fumble the football.
Antonio Gibson.
And Bill was a staggering showman of that last year. I think he had 4 fumbles. Now, they weren't lost fumbles, but 4 fumbles nonetheless. And Rachaad White has been known to fumble the ball a time or two. I could easily see him doing that if we get off to a rough start earlier in the year and it just never catches back up. But obviously I don't want to think like that, but we have to play devil's advocate on this show. We gotta show both sides. So I think Shad could be the one that disappoints a little bit. What about you? Who do you think's disappointing?
It wouldn't surprise me if it was Clavon Chasen. I think just because, and I'm not saying I think he's going to be bad this year. I'm saying I think that he's going to have a lot of pressure on him. He's still a young guy. He's 26, and he's been playing in the league for 5 years now. But, he started off his career in Jacksonville, played there for 3 years, then went to the Raiders, and then went to the Patriots last year on kind of like a prove-it thing. Right. Played really well for them. But, again, I do think that he's not the elite edge that some people might put him as, sort of that outside linebacker edge role.
Right.
Because the Patriots defense last year was phenomenal.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the reason they went to the Super Bowl.
The only reason they went to the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Drake, the schedule may.
Drake, the disappointment, Baker may.
But, yeah, I think that he, not to say he got masked in that scheme, but I think Vrabel obviously coaches up a really good defense, and I think that it kind of let him shine.
Right.
So I think he's going to do well this year. I don't think he's going to provide us with the stats that he did on New England.
You think he's like a system linebacker?
I don't want to say that. I still think he's really good. I don't think that he's
not going to jump off the page at you.
No.
Okay. I like that. He's going to set a good baseline for our linebacker room.
Yeah, which is great.
Yeah. Somebody's got to be the baseline. And that might just be Clavon Chase. But as I said, we had to play devil's advocate. We, of course, would love these guys to succeed.
Yeah.
Which is going to bring me to our last question. Most likely to win the wide receiver 2 job, Van Jefferson or De'Ami Brown? De'Ami's had the experience, but Van's been in the league a lot longer. Who do you think Jay's wide receiver 2 is going to be?
Can I go with neither?
Yeah, sure. You can go with neither.
I think both of them are going to be better as like that 3-4 role, kind of switching on and off. Remember 2 years ago when it was like, who's better, De'Ami Brown or Olamide Zaccheaus?
Yeah.
Like flipping back and forth each week.
Curtis Samuel is also in there.
Forgot about that guy. I think it's going to be a player that's already on the team.
Yeah.
Whether that's Luke McCaffrey, whether that is, honestly, our wide receiver 2, for all we know, could be Chig.
Yeah.
So I know he's a tight end, obviously, and that doesn't make sense. But catch-wise, reception-wise, yardage-wise, the guy had almost 600 yards in Tennessee last year. So obviously a very worthy target.
Right.
So, and honestly, there's still some guys on the market right now that we could still sign. You still got Juwan Jennings out there. Still got Debo.
Yep.
Tyreek Hill.
Brandon Ayuk is still out there.
Brandon Ayuk. Oh, my God.
The headache.
Washington media doesn't let me forget about
Brandon the headache IU.
Yeah. Guy's still technically on the Niners, and everyone's like, yeah, he's on the Commanders now.
Yeah, he might as well just be in Washington at this point.
Settle down. But, yeah, I think it's going to be neither of them, honestly.
You think Chig's just going to take that wide receiver 2 role if it's not Luke?
Yeah.
What about Jalen Lane? No Jalen Lane love?
I love Jalen Lane.
I love him to return the kick balls.
I love him to return punts. I don't know if I love him being wide receiver 2 in Washington.
Not yet. Not yet. He's young. He's got time to prove himself.
Exactly. 21-year-old? 22-year-old?
22-year-old. He's so young.
They grow up so fast.
They grow up so fast.
All right. That's enough football talk.
For now.
For now. Until next week when we inevitably talk about more football stuff. But
shocker. If you're pissed off for talking about football, it's a damn football podcast at this point.
It is March 16th. It's going to be March 17th when we release this. You know
Happy
what?
St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, happy St. Patrick's Day. Says the Irish guy.
Yeah.
Deflatedly. You know what starts in 2 days?
What would that be? The only thing that goes on in March?
March Madness. What, are you going to turn this into an edit now?
I'm getting deja vu right now.
We are going to go through our brackets.
Yes.
It's going to be Keenan going through his, letting us know, obvious picks, obvious upsets, not so obvious upsets.
Yes.
And, kind of our reasoning if there is one that stands out for us.
Pretty much if Ben says that a pick is stupid, he's going to tell me why. That's pretty much what he's saying. So, there's obviously levels to this. Me, myself, and I am not a very into college basketball ball knower.
Avid.
Ben, on the other hand, is the complete opposite.
Well, I don't, watch it tons.
No, but he knows his college ball.
I keep more up to date than you.
Yeah, so we'll see if he's going to yell at me. We kind of already sort of went over these, so we'll see which ones he yells at me for. Shocker. It's some of them.
He might be a little bit of an idiot. But.
So we're going to do the round of 64 and the round of 32, and then by the time next week's episode rolls around, it should be the round of 16s, and we should be able to knock out the rest of our brackets.
Yeah.
So, starting in the East, I have Duke over Siena. I have TCU over Ohio State. I have St. John over Northern Iowa. I have Kansas over Cal Baptist. I have Louisville over Southern Florida.
A lot of people are picking that one as an upset.
I felt it. I felt, I was seeing the Cardinal, and I was thinking back to that picture I have on my phone of the Arizona Cardinals. Do you remember that picture?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm thinking that guy is going to win.
I like the Cardinals.
I like the Cardinals a lot. I'm taking Michigan State over North Dakota State. I am taking UCLA over UCF.
I don't like that. I don't like it.
I am taking UConn over Furman. That is my East.
Yeah.
For my South, I'm taking Florida over whoever wins the poverty match between PVAMU and Lehigh? Lehigh. Iowa over Clemson. I'm taking Vanderbilt over McNeese.
Mm-hmm.
I'm taking Nebraska over Troy.
Yep.
I'm taking North Carolina over VCU. Sorry, Shelby. I'm taking Illinois over Penn. I am taking Texas A&M over St. Mary.
That's stupid. That's your dumbest pick so far.
Fair enough. We'll see. And then I'm taking Houston over Idaho. Sound good so far?
Good through the West.
All right,
good
cool.
through the
Good through the South?
Yeah.
All right, now on to the West. Arizona over Long Island.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of people have been talking about this game, but I'll get back to it in a second.
Ooh.
Just the TikTok gremlins. Villanova. Sorry, guys. That with the Sean Taylor shirt on, that's crazy. Villanova over Utah State, and then with one of Ben's favorite upset picks, High Point over Wisconsin. We're both taking High Point, I believe, but I'm not going to spoil any other picks for this bracket. So High Point over Wisconsin.
You kind of just did.
Arkansas over Hawaii. BYU over whoever wins between Texas and North Carolina State. Gonzaga over Kennesaw State. Miami over Missouri. And Purdue over Queens, New York.
Okay. Now the Midwest.
Now the Midwest. I am taking Michigan over whoever wins between UMBC and Howard. Whichever school they want to throw at Michigan, I guess. St. Louis over Georgia. I am taking Texas Tech over Akron. I am taking Alabama over Hofstra. I am taking Tennessee over Miami, Ohio, or SMU, whichever one decides they want to lose. I'm taking Virginia over Wright State, because what the hell is a Wright State? I'm taking Kentucky over Santa Clara, and I'm taking Ohio State over Tennessee State. Or, I'm sorry, Iowa State over Tennessee State. Did I say Ohio? I said Ohio State, I think. Iowa State over Tennessee State. Now, the round of 32.
Now, to preface this, guys, I just want to say I agreed with a lot of what Keenan had to say in the round of 64. Round of 32, he went off the rails. So, let's go ahead.
I'm choosing statistics over actual ball knowledge.
I'm being an analyst right now.
Here we go. Round of 32. I am taking Duke over TCU. I'm taking St. John over Kansas.
Yeah.
I'm taking Michigan State over Louisville. And I am taking UCLA over UConn.
Dumbass.
I think that's probably the farthest they go, but I like the UCLA story. So that's it from the East.
That makes one of us.
For the South, I'm taking Florida over Iowa. I'm taking Nebraska over Vanderbilt. I'm taking Illinois over North Carolina, and then I'm taking Texas A&M over Houston as possibly the biggest upset of the entire tournament. That would be a 10 beating a 2 seed, if you guys aren't that aware. For the West, I am taking Arkansas over High Point. I am taking Arizona over Villanova. I am taking BYU over Gonzaga. And I'm taking Purdue over UMiami. And then, in the Midwest, to round it all off, I'm taking Michigan over St. Louis. I'm taking Texas Tech over Alabama, just because, Alabama. I'm taking Virginia over Tennessee, because raw, home state. And Iowa State over Kentucky. That is my 64-32, whatever you want to call it.
I like it. All right. Bear with me.
Lay it on, Benny.
Let me take a sip of water before I indulge in this.
I'm going to take a sip of my not sponsored Taco Bell drink.
Man, imagine if we got a Taco Bell sponsor.
God, you'd be so happy and fat. It'd be ridiculous. We would both be happy and fat. I'm not going to lie.
You eat more than I do. It's just way more obvious
Just
with me.
All right,
Okay.
go ahead. Rip them like a Band-Aid.
I'm going to go through this kind of quick, but on some of them I am going to explain my reasoning.
Okay.
AKA slightly more ball knowledge than
AKA the reasons why Keenan's pick is stupid.
1, Duke over 16, Siena. I'm taking number 9, CCU over Ohio State. Number 5, St. John's over Northern Iowa. 4, Kansas over California Baptist, I believe it is. I'm taking 11 South Florida over 6 Louisville. Mikael Brown on Louisville is their star player, and he's out right now, so there's a possibility he comes back, but it's not certain. So
On the fence.
South Florida's coach is actually getting a lot of looks for like higher, better Division I schools. So we'll see.
We'll see.
Number 3, Michigan State over 14 North Dakota State. I'm taking number 10 UCF over number 7 UCLA.
Upset alert!
Upset alert. I think they're better. I think UCLA is, in my opinion, a bit too high on the bracket, but.
And you think that UCF is a bit too low on the bracket?
I do, yeah. I think UCF. In all honesty, I think they should be flipped.
Yeah.
If
it was flipped, would it change your answer?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. Number 2, UConn beating 15 Furman. Number 1, Florida beating Lehigh, who I think is going to win.
Sure.
Number 9, Iowa beating number 8, Clemson.
It's going to be a good game.
White boys in March. They go off.
Yeah, they do.
Number 5, Vandy beating number 12, McNeese. McNeese no longer has that student manager with the large boombox, so they're cooked.
Yeah.
Number 4, Nebraska over 13, Troy. And number 6, North Carolina beating number 11, VCU. Number 3, Illinois beating 14, Penn. Number 7, St. Mary's getting past the Aggies. I do think that'll be a close game. However, St. Mary's does a really good job at slowing the pace of the ball. So Texas A&M's kind of fast tempo, I think, will be kind of decreased. So we'll see. And then rounding out that region, I have Houston beating Idaho. In the West, number 1, Arizona beating 16, Long Island. I have number 8, Villanova beating Utah State. I know a lot of people are picking Utah State to win. However, a lot of times in these 8-9 matchups, it does go to kind of the blue blood of who's used to winning, and obviously Villanova is that program. So then I have number 12, High Point beating Wisconsin like you do.
Yeah.
I have number 4, Arkansas beating Hawaii. Number 6, BYU beating Texas. Number 3, Gonzaga beating 14, Kennesaw State. Number 10, Missouri beating number 7, Miami. I do have that one. I think Missouri's kind of underrated. They played SEC ball really well this year. So, and then I do have Purdue beating Queens. Right. To round it out, I have Michigan beating UMBC. I have St. Louis beating Georgia. Texas Tech beating Akron. Alabama beating Hofstra. Tennessee taking the win over Miami of Ohio. Number 3, Virginia beating 14, Wright State. I do have number 10, Santa Clara beating Kentucky. And then I have number 2, Iowa State winning against Tennessee State.
All right. Nice 64.
Yes. Now, 32. Gonna take a brief intermission here. My voice is dying.
Yeah.
I feel like it's just been decreasing as this talking thing has been going on.
Yeah. Ben's allergies make his throat close up. So, I mean, I've been offering remedies for him to, heal his throat. But if you guys have any suggestions for what Ben should be taking right now, other than...
Zyrtec?
Yeah, Zyrtec. Then
Anyways.
let me know. Round of 32, Ben.
That was incredibly crude.
What are you going to do?
I do have number 1, Duke, beating number 9, TCU. Before we go forward, I just want to say this is assuming that Duke has their full team. I know they have a couple of guys out, I think in Caleb Foster and Patrick Ngongba. Shout out PBI. But assuming they come back, and it's a full-strength Duke team, this is me making my prediction based on all that. I think they get to round of 16, no problem.
Yeah.
Number 5, St. John does beat number 4, Kansas. Number 3, Michigan State beats South Florida. Number 2, UConn beats UCF because I'm not an idiot.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, that was uncalled for.
Whatever.
Number 1, Florida beating the White Boys of Iowa. Number 5, Vanderbilt beating number 4, Nebraska.
That's a different one.
Vandy's been playing really well. They just obviously beat Florida in the SEC tournament. So, and they whomped them too. So,
Florida's the 1 seed. So,
Florida's a 1 seed, exactly. You want to hear a funny fact about Nebraska, too?
sure.
Obviously, I did have them winning in the round of 64. Nebraska's never won a tournament game in their history.
Oh, how many tournaments have they been to? Who knows? Multiple?
Yeah.
They've just been bounced first round every
Yeah.
year.
Yeah. So,
It's a year for the what are they? The Cornhuskers?
yes.
See, all those corn boys out there. Anyways,
Cornballs.
cornballs.
Number 3, Illinois beating number 6, North Carolina. Number 2, Houston beating St. Mary's. Now in the other region, I have Arizona beating Villanova. I have Arkansas beating High Point. I have BYU beating Gonzaga. I have Purdue beating Missouri. I have number 1 Michigan beating St. Louis. I have number 5 Texas Tech beating Alabama. I had number 4, but then we found out about the unfortunate news of their second leading scorer being arrested.
And kicked off the team
And
promptly.
kicked off the team and kicked off the campus.
Yeah.
But, I think Texas Tech has the edge now that that has happened.
Yeah.
I do have number 6 Tennessee beating Virginia.
You're such a hater, bro. You're such a hater.
I think Tennessee's ranked kind of low. I think, obviously, they also play SEC ball. They weren't as good this season as they've been in past seasons, but they also haven't had Nate Ament for most of the season, who's projected to be a top 10 NBA pick.
Okay.
He comes back now. Team's going to be better. They play better when he's there. I think he scores 17 points a game for them. So, big addition right before the tournament. So, I do have them winning.
Okay.
I also hate Virginia. And then I have number 2, Iowa State beating Santa Clara.
Nice list.
Yes. So the way we're going to work this is according to our ESPN app here, there are 1,920 points that we can win per se.
Right.
Whoever has the most points at the end of each round wins.
So we're taking what a win is, or a correct pick is 10 points.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then do the points increase going up the ladder, or?
I believe. I can't remember what the exact scoring breakdown of the app is, but it'll tell us how many points we have.
So we'll be keeping you guys up to date. We'll have trackers and we'll count the stuff.
We'll put some stuff out, if you lose, you got to do this.
Yeah.
If you win, you get this.
We'll do like challenges and, fails and, bets and whatnot. Kind of like the guy from the bar the other night. He threw his phone at our friend.
Oh, yeah.
Shout out that guy if he's still coherent enough to watch anything.
I don't want to shout out that guy. That guy's an asshole.
Yeah, he was a pretty big asshole, but
Anyways, finishing off.
Me? What was that?
We have one more thing to talk about.
Oh, sorry. It must have been the wind. Continue.
Speaking of wind, we're going to be talking about some crazy weather experiences that we've been having.
See how good at these segues I'm getting, bro? I should just be on a camera all the time with my clothes off. All right. Sorry. As a calendar model, guys, all right, get your head out of the gutter. I want to be a calendar model. Well,
with the voice cracks, too.
Yeah. Well, see, since calendars are so short, my 5'7" ass can fit on them, right? So.
Your ass is 5'7".
Yeah, it's a big ass. All right. So, anyways, we are going to be talking about some non-sports, just kind of, ease us out of an episode. So right now, the entire DMV East Coast area is getting hit with tornado watches and thunderstorms, and there was a little bit of hail earlier, and there's probably going to be some hail tonight. This is being recorded on Monday night.
Last week we had 81-degree weather. The very next day it was 32 and snowing.
Yeah, Virginia's been very bipolar for the last 3 or 4 weeks now, and it got me thinking. I was driving here, could barely see 5 feet in front of my car, and I was like, this takes me back to some of my worst storm experiences being in Virginia, because Virginia is ridiculous when it comes to weather. And I mean, we can have every single branch of weather happen in our state. That's just how crazy the weather system is here. So I want to hear from you, your personal experience, your worst weather experience that you've had since you've been alive. It could be a personal experience, or maybe even an experience that your parents have passed down to you.
I'll go personal.
Okay.
First of all, honorable mention. I just want to say I thought it was really funny today because at my place of employment, we had what's it called, shelter in place.
Yeah.
Which was literally, we all just went to the center of our store and just stood there. There were like
away from all the windows.
probably like 150 people standing in probably 50 by 50 space.
Yeah.
All just cramped in there for no reason too. It literally, obviously there was a tornado warning in place and we were advised to do that. But I just thought it was funny. We were just kind of corralling everybody and I was like,
Get over here, everybody, so we don't die. You know?
we advise you strongly not to do this. We can't tell you not to, but we advise you
If you want to leave
strongly.
the place of employment, then that is your choice. But it is very dangerous outside. We recommend you not do that.
Yeah, pretty much. But I will say, when I was younger, I lived in Thailand. Now, that region of Southeast Asia is obviously very well known for its monsoon season. It was really a shock for me, especially, one, considering I was 8 years old when I moved there and was not used to anything outside of really Fairfax, Virginia. So when I got there, everything was crazy, but it was right at the end of like typhoon/monsoon season. So I would walk out of school with, 6 or 7 of my closest friends there, and don't knock Ovi over.
You say OVO. OVO, OVO. Sorry, this is not a fun story. Continue.
Anyway, I would walk outside with like 6 or 7 of my closest friends, and the level at which it was raining today, like think of your car ride home, times 2. Winds going same level as today, pretty much. There were literally like trees with banana leaves falling down on people as they were walking out, and all the guys were just walking normal.
Yeah,
they just walked straight into it. They were like, "Yeah,
just monsoon.
Pretty used to it." I was like, "Oh my god, we're gonna die today!
Bananas are gonna hit me in the face. I'm gonna die."
But yeah, there were literally like trees falling down on the road, like, and everybody was just like business as usual. So I was not of that same vein. So I remember when I was, I want to say like 7, right before we left, we had a tornado warning in Fairfax, and I like locked myself in the basement in the storage room, like it's gonna be twisters.
Yeah,
like that's it.
It's not gonna happen. I'm gonna just close my eyes and it'll all be okay.
Yeah. So that's my story.
I tried to do that too, the whole close my eyes thing, and went away, but it didn't. In fact, it went into my house. My story is a little similar, but obviously I wasn't in Thailand. I was in 2nd grade. I was at my home with my mom and my sister, and we were under like pretty heavy, like severe thunderstorm / tornado watch.
Your house has a lot of windows in it too.
Yes, my house has a lot of windows. My house is also built in the 50s, so it wasn't very structurally sound. A lot of it was made out of very thin metal and very thin wood. So there were leaks in my house. My attic had no insulation, so it was very cold and very warm depending on what the weather was outside. But in this particular time, it was about like late April, I want to say. Right into like the wettest part of the year, and just because it was my birthday, and I'm sitting in my front room, and we're getting the blast, the on the TV, like the news station,
when it would go across the bottom.
Yeah, and it'd just be like in red. It's like, your area may have a tornado, and I'm like looking out my window. I'm like, are you sure? And my neighbor directly across the street had a huge oak tree, like old as oak tree. And I'm sitting there, I'm like looking out my window with my mom and my sister, and we all get up to like start moving into like our bathroom, because the warnings are like, get away from the windows. My mom's like, super like anal about everything, so she's just like, everybody get in the bathroom, get the dog, get in the bathroom. We're all sitting in the bathtub.
Get to the chopper.
My mom's got pictures of all of us sitting in the bathtub, my dog, me, and my sister. And then out of nowhere, you just hear this boom, and we're like, what was that? And my mom was like, Keenan, go investigate. My like 11-year-old ass was like, okay. And so I like walked out into the front room. There had been a tree that had fallen. My neighbor across the street, oak tree, had fallen across the street and came down on our roof and had fallen through our entire front patio. Wow. So the tree had hit. It had broken our glass on like our big glass pane in the front of the house.
Yeah.
And it had sat there. And so for I want to say about 3 days. That tree was there, and nobody could use the road except for like, our driveways were kind of like off center of the tree. So like we could get in and out of the driveway, but, all the power lines were down. They got backup generators like over immediately. Like all the houses were able to have power within 24 hours.
Wow. But
it was a very scary experience. And now my sister hates high winds just as much as my dog does. So, but they're both. So, I'm just kidding. I love you, Shelby. Go VCU. Anyways, that is the end of our episode.
Wow, that was quite a story. I didn't even know that happened to you.
Oh, well, yeah.
We don't talk about our personal lives.
There's a lot of stuff you don't know about me. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. We will come back to you next week with our point totals for March Madness. And if we have any more free agency news from the Commanders. I've been Keenan. He's been Ben, partly. And we will see you next week. Say bye, Ben.
Bye.